Hello and welcome back to the Zodiac Trial. I have decided that we're going to do exactly one more run. And for that one run, what we're going to do is, I wanted to end it with a bit of a special run, which means I'm not just randomly going in and trying to get a good run or anything like that, or trying to make a difference somewhere to achieve a different ending. I went ahead and looked up a walkthrough, and when I say that, it's not a walkthrough where it basically tells you everything that happens. It is simply a walkthrough that tells you which choice to make to get to a specific ending. And with specific ending, I mean get which death card, not what the ending is. So I don't know what ending we're going to get in the sense of I don't know what will happen. I just know I'm going to get the Ace of Spades ending here. Whether that's a good ending or not, we'll find out. And good doesn't necessarily mean in this case everyone survives or anything. I'm just saying a story-wise very interesting ending. We'll see. The one thing is, because I did want to at least find out what happens if you type in all the names on the computers. So the one spoilery part that I did look up is who their names are and what their roles are. So I have that, because otherwise I'd have to go through another like dozens of routes until I figure out which one's which. Because also, you know, the cards itself don't tell you which story you're gonna get. You don't know, like, I want to find out more about Bunny, I have to do card, I don't know, 4 of spades. You don't know that. So I just decided to go with that option. So if you don't want to be spoiled, if you want to figure that out yourself, stop here, buy the game, play through it yourself. That's probably the best way. But I'm going to proceed with this anyway, because I want to know. And for this route, you simply start as you would normally. You go through all of those. I think I could actually skip ahead there, but that's not too much of an issue. You go through that, and at the first option, first choice you get on who you want to go with, you will decide to go with horse and sheep. So that apparently means this one here doesn't matter. Apparently because that's not an option. So let's just go with dog and sheep. I don't really know. Oh, I should have gone with an option I already had gone through. But either way, no pressure. Huh? No pressure. I mean, yeah, the situation isn't ideal, but you shouldn't stress yourself out over it. Just do what you can and hope for the best. That's all you can do, right? Yeah, now you're speaking my language, Mouse. My talk with sheep and dog concluded, yep. And then we've talked with all of those anyway, so let's just go with snake, who cares? And this should lead us to being able to make the option to go with horse and sheep, I assume? Let's see. Yep, go on. Okay, go with horse and sheep instead. I don't actually know if the first 2 options matter at all then. They might not. I couldn't read that out of the walkthrough. I mean, I didn't, as I said, I didn't want to be spoiled too much, so I didn't actually read through it all. I just went to the option I wanted to choose and went with that. I just basically looked for which option has me actually putting in names and roles into the computers. That might be the case that the first 2 options literally don't matter, except for maybe the like we had it in the tiger route where you need more trust for something to happen, that you might have to interact with tiger earlier. But other than that, might not be of too much importance. So let's go with horse and sheep. Go into the gym. And our next, again, I'm not seeing this in the walkthrough, so I'm assuming the choice is pretty irrelevant. So let's have her have faith in others. And now we're joining bunny and dog. Again, we've seen this all. But that It's true. Whatever. I don't remember what the question was. Back here, again, that is not one of the options that matters, apparently. So we're gonna go with that. And then we die. Apparently that was not the right choice. Okay, apparently this is more complicated than I thought it would be. I might have to read through these instructions a bit more clearly. Da, da, da. Because this guy just says horse and sheep, bunny and dog. And then a phrase that says nobody has to die. Maybe I need to actually choose... Ugh, really... Oh yeah, I guess I'll just save. But I'll quickly go through this again. Yeah. That's all fine, Ox. Maybe I have to choose the right option for what Brian said to us, and then the aftermath of that. Maybe I do have to choose the right thing there. Let's just go with pig and horse. Doesn't really matter, I think. And dog and sheep. Yes, sure. Doesn't really matter. And then we're gonna make a save just before we answer that question. Because I think, yeah, answering that wrong just immediately, well, not immediately, but pretty early leads you to a death. So we're just not going to do that. Safe again. Join bunny and dog. And then it's true. And there's a save. Let's go with that. Wolves don't actually mean two people have to die. Oh, that's what it's referring to with nobody has to die. Okay, I guess I could see that making sense. Alright. They are in an order, written down in an order here. Don't know if they're in the right order, but I'll just trust them. Say Davis. Put a password tool. Computer wouldn't budge. It must have been wrong. Okay, and then, yeah, it's dead end again. Okay. Then it was the wrong computer. Okay, I just have to figure it out then, because we're skipping through. I'm gonna make another save here. Then, actually, it should tell me here. Ox. Then Ox would probably be Gary. And complicit. Computer wouldn't budge. That is strange. Did I misspell it the first time around? Which one of these is loaded, which is save? I never know. Yes, well, actually, let's go with that. Did I misspell Davis or something? Let's say Davis here. Yes. Or do I... It's lowercase tool. Who makes... Okay, whatever. Sure. Yes, I got in. Okay, great. Before I looked at that computer, I went to the next one, the one with the tiger avatar. I tried to remember Tiger's name. I couldn't quite remember the Star Witness's name. For this computer's username, I input... Well, you should remember that because that's the only one we actually got. Killer. Again, I was met with success. I was almost there, one more computer to go. I went to the last computer, the one with the bunny profile picture, and tried to type in the username. I tried to remember Bunny's name, I couldn't quite remember the lead cop's name. That's Gary. And complicit. I'd done it. I racked my brain hard, remembered the names of some of the people involved with that old case, took some guesses, and got through. Though the results were slightly concerning. More importantly, I'd gotten all the computers open. It was weird that the fourth computer was already open and that there was still a word left unused. Had someone opened that computer already? That means the word that we're missing is judge. And if Ox wasn't judge, that is quite interesting. Okay. It didn't matter right now. What mattered was the fact that I had 3 computer screens to check. I checked all of them and found the only thing on each of them was an open .png file. First computer had a 2, the second a 3, and the third a 4. Combining that with the 9 I had found earlier, it was a code of some sort. It was a 2349, yep. Let me write that down quickly. But for what? As soon as I checked the file names for all the images, I figured out what it was. Put together, it spelled pig minor trinket. It was unorthodox, but I had gotten my hands on another minor trinket. Yes, my escapade had helped make even more progress for the group. But I wasn't alone in finding trinkets. By the start of the 7th round we had 10 minor trinkets. It really looked like we were on a roll. However, it was at that point we ran into a bit of a problem. So, hold on a second. We spent that entire round and we didn't find anything? That's like really bad, isn't it? We're starting to run out of time. It'd be an awful shame if we weren't able to find enough trinkets by the end. It would be, so why are you saying it like that? Like what? Whatever, I don't have time to deal with you. We've been rather methodical in our search up until this point, have we not? Nobody's been going over ground that's already been searched. If we continue to look for trinkets in vain, things could become quite vexing. You're telling me? We've already done a full tour of this place. What's next? Going back to places we've already seen? How dreary. Have some of y'all not been doing your fucking job? How hard is it to find these things? Perhaps they are being found but simply not shared. What are you talking about? We are currently under the assumption that everyone is on the same page. However, it is possible. Oh, can it? Would you snake? First of all, we only need one more trinket. I can use my ability to hitch a ride on one of you guys. I'm sure there have been places we haven't checked yet, so let's keep looking. I understand the concern. If a mere 2 trinkets are out of reach, the entire enterprise falls apart. I'm not entirely unconvinced Brian forgot to label one of his minor trinkets. What are you talking about? Earlier I found something in the library which has the same shape and built as a trinket, but there's nothing written on it. No code or anything. A blank trinket, huh? Was there anything else notable about the scene? Not really. There was a written message that was odd. I've stolen blood from my kin. I didn't really get it though. Stolen blood from my kin, huh? A thought crossed through my mind. Something that had stuck out like a sore thumb to me was the fact that certain minor trinkets had specific numbers written in red. Hey, everybody, could we pull our minor trinkets on the table right here? I want to try looking at all the ones we've got so far. I asked, and the group complied. There were 3 instances of a number in the sequence being colored red, and as far as I remember, they are all 6s. Once on the first digit, once on the third, and once on the fourth. It seemed too important to be coincidental. If the missing trinket had a red digit as well, there would be 4 numbers, like a 4-digit code. So what? Was I supposed to just take whatever number was written in red and put that in a place for an original 12th trinket? If that were the case, then we wouldn't be able to solve this trinket until we found the missing one. But that solution seemed overly simplistic, and I felt like there was some pattern I was seeing with the numbers, something I couldn't quite put my finger on. I spent some more time looking at all the trinkets. Some of the others had already split off to look for trinkets themselves, but I was onto something. Suddenly I realized the pattern I'd been overlooking. All the 4-digit codes without a red number were divisible by 9. Every single one of them. And every 4-digit code with a red number wasn't. So that meant perhaps the red number was some sort of false number. And the real number would be the number that made the 4-digit code divisible by 9. So for the code 4376 with the number 6 written in red, the real number should actually be 4. If my theory was correct, then the minor trinket Ox found should end with a 4. I worked out the other red numbers and got the code 5x24. 5x24, huh. If only I had that last number. Wait, what was I talking about? If all the codes were divisible by 9, I'd solved it. I'd pieced together an 11th trinket. Maybe. Honestly, a lot of my deduction was based off of guesswork. I had no assurance that I was actually right in my line of thinking. Well, there was really only one way of telling for sure. I made my way into an empty classroom and took out my tablet. I pressed the item button, and I typed in 5724. When I submitted it, I was worried I would be met with an error. However, to my surprise and delight, the code had worked. Yes! I cheered audibly. What is it? Ox entered. He had been watching me work in silence for some time now. I figured it out. I just input the code for the 11th minor trinket. Oh, well, good for you. It appears we'll be able to finish things in the next 2 rounds thanks to you. Very solid work. Oh, thanks. However, I must say, weren't you supposed to use your ability on one of us? What now? Oh, well, you can use your ability. I'll move first, so you'll move 1 space after me. And then you can use the code I just input next round, and I'll use my ability on you. That should get everything sorted, right? Indeed it should. And like that, we had a plan. After a brief celebration, we gathered everyone back in the cafeteria and told them the good news. Needless to say, everybody was very enthused that the nightmare would soon be over. Let's go. Thank God this will finally be over. I must say there wasn't much of a climax to the action. The tension just kind of slowly fizzled out. Well, thank God for that. Anyways, I suppose that means we should all use a minor trinket this round, right? Correct. 2 more rounds and we're done. 2 more rounds. 2 more rounds, but it wasn't like they were anything to be worried about. There were no more obstacles in the way of group unity. People hung around in the general area of the cafeteria, going to private rooms to input their actions at their leisure. While there was still some tension, people were far calmer than they had been before. I heard a number of people breaking into conversations. I just don't get why my dog can't learn basic tricks. They're not hard at all, I could do them. See, this is why cats are better. They're just chill. They don't do tricks and you don't expect them to. Tiger, have you been using positive reinforcement when teaching your dog a trick? What's that? It's training a brain to connect positive stimuli with a certain pattern of behavior. Pavlov actually made great strides in this field by... This is going to be boring, isn't it? I don't think so. So the answer is yes. Monkey frowned. I guess I just don't get it. Aaron Morris did kill Amadeus Bone, right? I thought that was proven. Of course he did. I proved that myself. There really isn't any other way for it to have gone. I investigated all the suspects myself. You included Mr. Brewster. To be honest, I thought it was the secretary at first. Good thing for her that that artist's testimony backs her up. So if it's all so clear, why is this guy so sure his dad was innocent? Delusion, most likely. The son couldn't reconcile his nice father with the act of murder. His dad wasn't a bad person, so the bad people had to be elsewhere. A childish mindset through and through. Even if he killed Amadeus, that doesn't make that man a bad person. I mean, there's that saying about ill dead people or whatever, but fuck that dude. He sucked big time. Really? I don't know so much about that. All I know is that the public certainly loved him. For once, Rooster's right. I certainly don't condone murder, but I didn't exactly weep for Amadeus Bone. After looking into the case, there are certainly many bad stories about that man. Ox gets it. Dipshit refused to ever invest any funding into my films. Artless cretin. Well, that wasn't exactly what I was referring to, but whatever. For the most part, I kept to myself. I was just going over everything in my head, overwhelmed by it all. When the round ended, everybody moved 11 spaces, except for Ox, who moved 10. That was that, then. One more circle would settle things. We were finally reaching an end. Enough time had passed, so I decided to go into the nearby classroom to input the code for my minor trinket. Finally. Finally, with this, the nightmare would be over. It was the last thing I needed to do to settle things once and for all. I walked into the room and activated my ability on Ox. Simple as that. Things were now settled. However, before I could leave the room, a voice crackled on over the speakers. Well, are you happy, Mouse? Happy that you are all able to band together to finish things without any casualties? I imagine you aren't. You think so little of me. Mouse, you must understand, this too was an outcome I intended to be possible. Granted, I didn't think it likely, still, it was always on the table. If you all were truly innocent of heart, you wouldn't be easily swayed by my words. You'd be calm, rational, work as a group, and evade the traps set for you. And we did just that. Doesn't that prove you wrong? Prove that you going through all this trouble was for nothing? Perhaps. However, I wonder how many times you would have had to fail before you could get a success like this. Had to fail? The hell does that mean? Had this outcome been the result of a cosmic dice roll, I was just wondering how many times God would have had to roll those die to see something like this. I imagine quite a few times. I imagine more often than not, your sin would doom you. Sounds like a lot of bullshit coming from a sore loser. I don't know how little you think of us, but I know for sure that no matter how many times you put us through this, we'd always band together. If you say so. You can only act smug for so long, Brian. Soon enough we're going to be out of this place and then you're going to jail for a long time. Indeed. I imagine the police won't look too favorably on all of this. My only regret is that I won't be able to land a punch in your face myself. You know, if you really want to, I'll let you. For a second, my body froze. What do you mean? Outside the school, there's a football field. There's a small building right beside the fence surrounding that field. I've been using that as my base of operations. So if you want to come find me to get justice yourself, that's where I'll be. And you're telling me this because? Think of it as a reward for a perfect victory. Do I look dumb to you? This smells of an obvious trap. No way in hell I'm gonna go there by myself. Suit yourself. Just thought you might like to know. And with that, the speakers cut off. Geez, even after his game has failed, Brian still found ways to piss me off. What did he think he was doing telling me his location like that? It just didn't make any sense. Whatever. Why bother thinking about it for too long? I strode out of the classroom I had taken shelter in back to the cafeteria. There, I continued to wait. As the round's deadline got closer, more and more people took excursions to separate rooms, all presumably inputting the code for their minor trinket, bringing them to victory. I didn't pay them too much mind, I was still busy fuming about Brian. However, something in particular caught my eye. And that something was Dragon angrily pulling Snake down the hallway towards the very end of the round. That didn't look good. I knew it wasn't my place, but I thought it strange, not to mention a little disconcerting. Conflict of any kind this late in the game didn't sit well with me. I thought about following after them to see exactly what the matter was, to see if I could perhaps resolve it. What to do? Let's save. And Ace of Spades says don't intervene. So we're not going to intervene. After thinking about it some more, it really wasn't my place to intervene in every single petty squabble that happened. They were both adults, they could work things out themselves. Best to let things play out naturally. So, as the two walked down the hallway, I didn't pay them mind. However, as the minute passed, I couldn't help but notice that they hadn't yet returned. Even as everyone else was gathered around the TV, even as the round end announcement was about to go off, they weren't here. The hell? Before I could think about it too much, the screen finally cut on. Here's the moment of truth. What shouldn't have been tense suddenly felt as such. Round 9 has ended. Now let us see how the race has progressed. The rat has hitched a sneaky ride on ox. The ox has used a minor trinket. The ox has moved to the finish line. Thanks to the sneaky ride, the rat also moves to the finish line. The tiger has used a minor trinket. The tiger has moved to the finish line. The bunny has used a minor trinket. The bunny has moved to the finish line. The dragon has failed to input an action. The snake has failed to input an action. The horse has used a minor trinket. The horse has moved to the finish line. The sheep has used a minor trinket. The sheep has moved to the finish line. The monkey has used a minor trinket. The monkey has moved to the finish line. The rooster has used a minor trinket. The rooster has moved to the finish line. The dog has used a minor trinket. The dog has moved to the finish line. The pig has used a minor trinket. The pig has moved to the finish line. The finish line has been crossed. The winners are mouse, ox, tiger, bunny, horse, sheep, monkey, rooster, dog, and pig. Congratulations. Anyone who has not won has lost. Prepare for execution. Click. What? What the hell was this? I didn't even register the fact that the collar around my neck had become unlocked. That couldn't possibly be right, could it? No way, it just wasn't possible. We had won. We'd worked together, we'd beaten Brian's game. So why was it ending like this? Why did we still have 2 casualties? The others looked similarly confused. What on earth? Hey, is there a mistake here or something? This isn't good. We should check. Go check on those 2 to see what else. Monkey didn't finish her sentence. She didn't need to. We got the picture. Everybody, they went this way. I took initiative, leading the group to where a new dragon and snake had gone. I hurriedly walked to a scene that I didn't want to see. Unfortunately, as I peered into an open classroom down the hallway, my fears were confirmed. No! The others crowded around to see the executed bodies of dragon and snake. I didn't need to do a thorough check to know what had happened. The blood on the floor around their necks. It painted the picture just fine. What? Why didn't they input their actions? Those guys. Damn it. Were they seriously so caught up in an argument that they didn't notice the time limit for the round? This is why we said it. This is why I said we should have all inputted our actions at the start of the round. That's what happened. That's a pretty dumb way to die. And believe me, I've seen a lot of dumb ways. But enough of it. Shut up, dog. Actually, I don't think that's what happened. Look, Dragon is gripping onto Snake's tablet and vice versa. So, what are you saying? They got their tablets mixed up? There's no way. Each tablet has its respective animal drawn on its back very clearly. Maybe they forgot what their animal looks like? A dragon's kind of like a snake when you think about it. Rooster, I do not believe jokes are appropriate at this time. Right. And? Never mind. I don't think this is a simple mix-up. The 2 were arguing before, right? Maybe one deliberately operated the other's tablet to kill them. What? It's possible. If you wanted to kill someone, this would be the prime time to do so. But both of them are dead. How do you explain that? Perhaps whoever was killed lunged out and operated the other person's tablet as they were being executed? Is that possible? I think so. Especially if the first went down with someone vengeful like Dragon. All these words were blurring together. I'd stopped listening a while ago. Instead, I was just seething, hating. I was just angry, very angry with Brian. Furious with him. Furious with his bullshit game. I remembered his smug voice when I told him that he had won, that we had won. Did he expect something like this would happen? Did he instigate it? Regardless of the truth of the matter, Brian had now crossed a line. To kidnap us was one matter. To kill 2 of us something entirely else. But how to? I took off my collar. Hey, Mouse, where are you going? Mouse! Wait up! I walked faster. Mouse? Not sure if this is the time for a dramatic exit. Let her do a thing. All you need is to blow off some steam. Their voices were getting quieter. I was getting farther from the classroom, closer to the door at the front of the building. Soon enough I got to the entrance, or rather, the exit. I grabbed the doorknob and pulled. I expected that it would be locked. However, to my surprise, I was able to open the door quite easily. I suppose the collars on our necks were the real deterrent to leaving the building. As I walked outside, I could once again feel the sun on my skin. I could breathe fresh air. I was free. I could run straight back home. That's what I'd normally be thinking. However, none of those thoughts crossed my mind. Instead, I had a single goal in mind. Now, where did Brian say he was? I looked around and soon enough I saw the small building by the football field he was referring to. I strode towards it confidently. A punch? He thought he was only going to get a punch from me? He thought his sins were worth a punch? No. I was going to teach him how it felt to be choked out. I stormed to the building with such frustration. However, as I actually stood by the door, I hesitated for a moment. Was I being stupid? Yes, as always. Could I really confront the Jade Emperor? No. This wasn't the Jade Emperor. This was just some sick kid. A kid in need of punishment. Time slowed down. I gripped the door handle. I began to open the door. I felt some weird resistance as I pulled it open. What was this feeling? My eyes darted downwards. Was that a wire in the door crack? As I began to think about... boom.